Someone once asked me, if knowledge workers are so busy, why do their customers keep asking what's taking so long? That question stuck with me because it points to something very deep. In knowledge work, the manufacturing mindset is unfortunately still very dominant. Because of that, we confuse effort with value. We confuse activity with progress, applying the same widget production mindset to cognitive, creative, and service based work. And we rarely stop to ask, is this actually helping? Today, I want to show you a tool that changed how I see work and has helped me coach teams to dramatically increase their productivity with relatively little effort. You've probably heard of value stream mapping. So now let me introduce you to its lesser known cousin in the Lean family, Yamasumi charts. And be careful. When misused, Yamasumi becomes a micromanagement microscope. It kills innovation, drains engagement, and reduces people to task units. However, when used the way it was intended, it reveals something powerful, the hidden waste that quietly destroys in every industry. Research shows that 60 to 80% of work actively adds zero value, and in many cases, actively gets in the way. In knowledge work, it can be even worse because, unlike manufacturing, knowledge work is largely invisible. We can't see the waste piling up, but we can see the customer frustration when we fail to meet their needs. When we take a closer look, all work falls into one of three categories. Let's break them down. The first category is value adding work. This is the work that customers pay for and care about. It meets three criteria. It transforms something. The transformation matters to them and it's done right the first time. In software, it means delivering the feature the user needed to improve their workflow. In consulting, it's solving the problem that we were hired to solve. In healthcare, it's the treatment that delivers a cure, not the paperwork around it. Now, here's a trap. Just because something feels important or is even perhaps required doesn't mean it adds value. Fixing a bug? That's not value, that's recovery. And that's exactly why you don't assign story points to bugs. Fixing them doesn't deliver anything new, it just pays off the value you claimed you'd already delivered, but didn't. And while you're fixing it, the customer still doesn't have what they paid for, and they now have to deal with a new headache that you created. Earning story points for bugs. Are you kidding me? That's literally rewarding extra credit for cleaning up your mess. That right there is a textbook example of not understanding Agile or what value delivery means. And here's another one, spending time explaining something that could have been clear from the start. Sure, you're working. That's not value. That's just cleanup for bad communication. Think about your last 2 days of work. Much of it actually transforms something your customer would care about and be happy to pay for. Been there, done that. It's a sobering filter when you take a close look and see it. The second category is non value adding but necessary work. This is enabling work, the stuff that doesn't directly create value itself. And without it, value creation breaks down or becomes impossible, maybe even illegal. Think of security compliance, planning meetings, documentation for future maintainers. You're not selling these things, and they're essential, basically a scaffolding to create what you are selling. This category is the gray zone where bureaucracy creeps in, where processes grow because of assumptions, legacy habits, or over interpretation of requirements. So here's the test. Does it directly enable better delivery of value? Or is it truly required by external factors? If the answer to both is no, it moves into the final and third category, pure waste. This is the work that adds no value, doesn't enable value, and isn't required. Reading reports no one acts on, formatting decks no one reads, waiting for approvals that don't add insight, searching for the same information over and over again. And the worst? work done just to look busy or because someone misunderstood what compliance actually requires. One team I worked with was spending 6 hours a week, every week, preparing those detailed status reports. When we asked who was reading them and what they were doing with them, no one. Leadership was all that they wanted was confirmation that something was happening. And the report said they're busy. Well, thank you very much. Yes, busy creating waste. And then you bring me in to solve the big mystery of why your teams aren't more productive. Yeah, status reports gone. Another team had three levels of review for every document. Sounded necessary until they skipped one and nothing broke. That extra step goes from a long past audit that spooked them into overreaction. Waste gone. Then there was a team drowning in HIPAA documentation. They thought they had to create special documents to prove compliance. Good intentions. Once we reviewed the regulatory requirements, it became clear tagging their existing everyday materials was not only compliant, it was preferred by the regulators. All that thorough documentation, it was actually a red flag from the regulator's point of view. It wasn't living documentation, it was theater. The regulators knew it. All that extra work, totally unnecessary and gone. Three examples, three different kinds of waste, same outcome, gone. You see the pattern? Your biggest productivity gains don't come from working harder. They come from removing the stuff that never should have been there in the first place. But before you can remove the waste, you have to be able to see it. That's the kind of insight this framework creates. So, how do you use it? Start with a time audit. 1 week. You and your teams block your time in 30-minute chunks and sort every activity. Is it value adding? Is it enabling? Or is it waste? Yes, it's tedious. Yes, it's distracting. No, it's not something you do forever. It's a temporary microscope, not a management system. Treating it like a management system is how companies go off the rails. You use it once in a while, like a diagnostic tool, to see what's actually happening in your day and strategize improvement based on that insight. The first time I did this, it was humbling. More than half my time was wasted, not because I wasn't working. Believe me, I was busy nonstop because I was doing work that didn't matter. That was sobering. Work that always let me check the busy box. Sure, but seldom the value delivered box. And that's why I was struggling to make any real progress. Before I learned this framework, all I had was one big monolithic uppercase work to get through. It was just one massive thing looming over me. I was grinding under it. I couldn't see the parts. It all felt urgent and it all had to be done. Once I could see the parts, everything shifted. I started building fences. I protected the value adding time. I streamlined or automated the enabling work, and I eliminated the rest. And that's when flow became possible because waste doesn't just cost time, it kills flow. Flow depends on focus, and focus can't survive constant interruption or back to back meetings about nothing. You can't enter flow if you're constantly shifting gears. You can't stay in flow if your day is built around tasks that don't matter. This framework, value, enabling, waste, it isn't just a lean tool, it's a lens for reclaiming your attention and designing work that supports human performance. And here's where AI comes in. As AI gets more capable, we have a choice. We can let it automate random tasks. Sure. Or we can use this framework to aim it wisely. Let AI handle the enabling work, status tracking, scheduling, documentation, coordination, and let humans focus on the value adding work, the creative, the ambiguous, the work that Flow was made for. A recent early release study from MIT highlights a concern that AI may be turning people's brains to mush. And honestly, it's not an irrational fear. If all we do is limit ourselves to being passive consumers of AI outputs, here's the thing, it's not AI that dulls our thinking. It's how we use AI. When AI is used the way I'm describing here, strategically, purposely, in service of human cognition, the opposite should be true. Our minds should get sharper, more capable, better equipped to solve the kinds of problems that just a few years ago would have been completely out of reach. Because we've freed ourselves from the repeatable mundane and finally set ourselves up to do the truly interesting, yes, difficult, and rewarding work. That's the value that AI brings to humanity if we use it wisely. And this framework is one way to do exactly that. That's where the real leverage is human flow at machine speed. It all starts with clarity clarity about what matters, clarity about what's just support, and the courage to let go of everything else. So here's what you can do next start small. Categorize one meeting, one email, one calendar block, and ask yourself is this creating value, enabling it, or wasting everyone's time? Because once you see the waste, you'll never unsee it. And when you do see it, let us know in the comments. Tell us what you found and how it felt to realize just how big the pile is. And if you'd like to learn more about value stream mapping, click one of these. I'll be happy to tell you all about it.